As of February 2020, Belizeans can expect new requirements in the passport application process. The most significant of these changes is the recommendation portion of that process. Previously, applicants were required to have two recommenders. A recommender is a person who endorses the validity of the supporting documents, reinforcing that the person applying is indeed who they say they are. One recommender was to be from the private sector and the other from the public sector. A justice of the peace and a licensed teacher were the most commonly used. However, in 2019, there was an amendment to the legal framework that removed this portion of the application process. Mario Arzu is the director of the Department of Nationality and Passports, and he is responsible for the acceptance and preparation of the digital border crossing cards, permanent residence, and nationality and passports.
Effective the 31st of December, there was an amendment that got rid of that application process, not in its entirety, but some fundamental changes were made where the applicant no longer needs to seek two recommenders. They can only now submit their application effective February 3rd with one recommender only. The individual does not necessarily need to be a JP or a teacher or just a Belizean national.
Arzu explained that the reasons for the changes are to make the process easier for applicants and more secure for the department.
Apart from the cumbersome process that individuals have to go through seeking these two recommenders, it was evident that individuals were just signing for signing's sake. They would just sign because probably they have some benefit or whatever the case may be. We're trying to remove that unnecessary hurdle, but at the same time maintain the security of the application process, which we believe with a justice of the peace and a licensed teacher was not being too effective.
The one recommender must be a Belizean citizen through birth or descent, must be 18 years or older, holds a valid Belize passport, and has known the applicant for at least 1 year. Important to note is that a recommender can now be a family member of the applicant.
The idea is that that individual is someone who knows you. That's it. Whether it's your parent, whether it's your friend, your cousin, or relative, it does not matter, as long as that person knows you. The objective of the application still remains the same. You must fulfill the two basic objectives, which is one, that the person presenting the document in front of you is who they say they are, and two, that that individual is a Belizean citizen.
Of course, the caution remains that it is a prosecutable offense to falsely declare knowing a person.
There is a piece of legislation that also states that if somebody knowingly supports fraudulent applications, that they are liable to be taken to court and impose a fine of $50,000 or do a jail time of 5 to 15 years.
For minors, prior to the amendment, recommenders were only required to know the applicant, which was the parent applying on behalf of the child. Recommenders will now be required to know both the child and the parent.
You're saying now that I know child X and that child, the mother or the father is Mr. X or Miss X.
In the new process, first-time applicants now have the option of using either their Social Security card, registered voter ID card, marriage certificate, or descent nationality certificate as a form of identification. All forms available on the Immigration and Nationality Services website or at an immigration office are still required to be completed and presented along with supporting documents required. Supporting documents must be presented in original form along with a copy of each. Arzu said that the department is looking into simplifying the renewal process.
For the renewal, it has been proposed, and it's something that we are venturing into, that we do so cautiously, that the applicant only presents their expired passport along with their application form. That's it. They don't need to bring no other identification, no other supporting documents, any at all.
Passport application fees remain the same and still requires the $1.50 stamps. The application cost for minors is $30 for both first time and renewal, and adults at $50 for both first time and renewal. Lost or damaged passport replacements requires applicants to pay an additional $35. Expedited services also require additional fees.
1 day or the 24 hours, an additional $200, plus the 50 or the 30, depending if it's an adult or a minor. $100, $150, I'm sorry, for the 48 hours, and $100 for a 3 to 5 day service.
There will also be a ticketing system implemented at the department's office in Belmopan, which will aid in having a more organized system of addressing the needs of the applicants. For Belize Now, I'm Miriam Longsworth.